Hey everybody, Ted Paulson here, and today we're going to be making a chicken fried steak sandwich. Not a chicken fried steak dinner, but a sandwich, and it is so tasty, you'll love it. So let's get cooking with the geezer. Okay, let's get cooking here. The first thing you want to do is start out with something that you're going to dip the steak in so that the flour mixture will stick to it. So in this case here, we're going to start out with some buttermilk, and we're going to let the steak soak in there for a while. You could let it soak overnight if you want to, but just for a few minutes anyway. Some cayenne pepper, give it a little kick. A little bit more kick is this Tajin pepper. It's a pepper powder with a little lime accent. And then we're going to have some garlic powder and some onion powder. And, for about a cup or so, because I only got two steaks, just a little bit of the bacon fry mix, about a cup or so. And you mix all those dry ingredients into the flour or bacon fry mix. And then, of course, we get a couple of keepstakes. You can get them at the store. You can go to your butcher and have them do that for you. Um, just whatever so that you can, soften it up a little bit, tenderize it so that it'll make some pretty good chicken fried steak. So mix your powders in there, about a teaspoon each if you like a strong flavor, half a teaspoon each if you don't. Um, but the more of the spicy stuff, the more you might taste a little bit. In this case, it's not really making it spicy, it's just adding some flavor to it. So, season to taste or, about a half a teaspoon each for a cup of the mixture of the bacon fry or just regular powder or flour, but you want to use self-rising flour if you're going to fry with flour. And mix that up pretty good. If you got a whisk, you can whisk it if you're doing it in a bowl. I'm doing it on a plate, and the plate's got a little bowl-like action in there, so it's got high sides. And so it works really well for a dunking station and a flouring station. So get that all mixed in there pretty good. And when you're done mixing up your mixture, flour mixture, then we're going to have the dunking station. We're going to have the dunking in one and dredge it in the flour. And so the dunking station in this case is going to be the buttermilk. You can use eggs if you want, whisk those up really good. Maybe a little bit of hot sauce in there. In this case here, we're just having the plain buttermilk. It will add a little bit of seasoning to it once we get the steaks in there. Get them in there and then let them sit for a minute on the one side. And then when you're done coating that, then you can flip it over and then we'll start adding some seasonings to it. You can salt and pepper it. You can add some more of the onion powder and the garlic powder if you wish. A little salt and pepper from my little shakers. I do a lot of cooking on a Blackstone griddle, so I have outdoor salt and pepper shakers that match that I use with the griddle, and a little bit of that garlic powder and that onion powder. Just a little bit of seasoning to the meat, so that when you're dredging the flour, you have like a little bit inside the flour mixture as well. That way too, if some of the mixture, the coating comes off, then hopefully there's still some of that flavor stuck onto the meat. It should be really good. And turn it over again. Just dab that buttermilk on there. Make sure that you don't have any parts that don't have buttermilk on there. A little shaking of the garlic and onion powder on that side of the steak. Get it all covered pretty good, both sides. Couldn't hurt. Then hopefully you before you started doing this, you turned on that deep fryer to get that up to the temperature, or you got oil in a frying pan that you're getting ready to use. Now, if you're using the frying pan, you don't have temperature control like you do on the deep fryer, so make sure you got your candy thermometer or something in there that you can test the oil and make sure it gets up to about 340 degrees. And once it's been soaking in that buttermilk long enough, then it's time to dredge it. Put it in the flour, and I like to cover it with the top side, pat it down a little bit, flip it over, cover some more on there, pat it down a little bit. Just make sure I got a good coating all around the steak. Once you get that, then it's going to be ready to put that baby in the fryer. Shake off some excess flour and stuff first, so that that excess flour doesn't show up in the oil. That's going to be good. You get that other steak covered up pretty good. Now put the larger of the two in the fryer first, because it might take a little bit longer to cook. And so I got that in there, and now I'm coating the smaller one. Get it all covered real good. Take out that excess mixture and then pop it in the fryer. Man, that's going to be good. Sounds amazing, doesn't it? Sound really appetizing. If you're not much on fried foods, then you're missing out on the chicken fried steak. But don't worry, we'll have some other recipes on here where it doesn't involve any frying. It'll be some baking or cooking on the griddle, some roasting, even some grilling on a barbecue griddle, or barbecue grill. Shake it a little bit, move it around in the frying pan, just make sure it's not sticking, depending on what kind of frying pan you're using. After about 2.5 minutes in the deep fryer, you want to turn them over, because the heating element is at the bottom of the fryer, and you got to make sure it kind of colors evenly on both sides. In a frying pan, you got to wait 5 minutes and then flip it over to the other side. In the deep fryer, it's cooking both sides at once, so it takes half the time as in the frying pan. Sounds pretty good. It's looking pretty good. And just make sure your timing is right. Keep an eye on the thermometer in the frying pan, but it's maintaining the right degrees. It's going to drop a little bit when you first put them in, but the deep fryer will heat it up automatically, but you may need to adjust your temperature on the stove top. Make sure you try to maintain about that 340. Keep an eye on it. I have a timer set, but I just like to keep an eyeball on it too, just in case. And I'm using sourdough bread and spicy ranch dressing. I'm allergic to mayonnaise, so I use ranch dressing or some other salad dressing I might like on it that's a creamy one. Just regular ranch would be good, jalapeno ranch, spicy ranch. Again, this is not a spicy sandwich, but it's got quite a bit of seasoning on there, and a little bit of the powdered stuff, and a little bit in the dressing. Top that with the dry piece. You can coat both sides if you want more dripping goodness, but I'm just doing the one side. Then cut it in half just to make it manageable. I'm going to try it out now. It's a little bit hot in the temperature. Finger looking good. Very good flavors. It's not spicy with a lot of this stuff in there. Got a little crunchiness though. That's good. It's chicken fried steak. So it's a steak. It's good. Sorry, with some pickles on it too. That made a really good addition. Anyways, click like if you like this, please. I'd appreciate it, and subscribe. Much appreciated. Thank you.